What's up, family? It is none other than your boy JGiddins, the Paralegal. As usual, remember to be positive, be optimistic, and keep positive people in your circle. I want to take a moment to talk to you guys about law. If you are interested in self-representing or practicing litigation or being a paralegal, you should watch this video. So law, what is law? First of all, you want to know that law is not about right or wrong. It's not about right or wrong. It is about assuring that we all can operate around each other with civility. So the idea that you're going to like every court decision or you're going to like every ruling or every order, it can go out of the window because good or bad is opinionated. It's not about that. It's just about keeping us all civil. The law is interpreted in several different ways. You have codes, you have regulations, you have rules, you have statutes, right? When I explain this to people, I try to have you think about a code of conduct, right? Like if you've ever worked in a professional environment for a corporation, most businesses have a code of conduct. What this is sort of like a way that you act, a way that you confine your behavior to. For instance, I used to work for Verizon Wireless, and Verizon Wireless does have what they call a BCOC, a business code of conduct, which means there's certain things that you just do and you don't do in order to, stay in line with Verizon's culture. That same principle and concept applies to law, right? So every state has a code, sort of a way they conduct themselves in order to adhere to laws. So when we talk about practicing law or litigating in actual court, I think that one of the most important concepts to realize is the concept of codes and rules, right? And the reason being is that the judge, the magistrate, the person making this decision has a little bit of freedom. They have a little bit of wiggle room, but that wiggle room is decided based on rules. So for instance, if a state had a code that said, when the mother makes less money than the father, the child goes right to the mother, a judge has some wiggle room with that. They could say, well, in this case, I don't want it to go to the mother. In this case, I want it to go to the father. They do have some wiggle room. However, that wiggle room is not without limitation. They are limited by rules. You can't just do whatever you want. There's still a certain subset of rules and criteria that have to be met even within your wiggle room, right? So this is where the ideology of having a good lawyer or not comes in. Basically, whether or not they are able to hold the court accountable, because it's kind of like if you show up to a basketball game and you don't really know how to play, you don't know the calls, the person you're playing might double dribble, they might travel a little bit, and if you don't know to count 3 steps instead of 2, they're going to do whatever they want with you. So you got to realize this respectfully. A lot of the fathers that feel like, well, they doing this to me, they doing that to me, you are coming to the court. And how ironic is it that a basketball game uses a court? But you are coming to a court and you don't know how to play the game. Imagine coming to a basketball court, you checking out, let's play 1-on-1, let's play 50, let's play 3-on-3. They check up, but you don't know the rules and the guidelines. Doesn't make any sense to even do that. Anyways, let's get back on target. I am only a paralegal, so technically I cannot give you legal advice, but what I will tell you is that when it comes to my own litigation, I've had a case against the NBA that I won, and I have some other litigation that I'm working on as well. And hold on. Yeah, when I look up my cases, what I do is I typically try to find what rules govern the abilities of the decision maker. I mean, it's that simple. Because even though you come in front of a judge or a magistrate or whoever they are, this person is a public servant. This person is sort of like a space filler. Judge, whatever is just a number. This is just somebody who is in line to do a list of duties that anybody can do. In fact, in Congress, they actually switch out and rotate who is the person who does that. If you guys notice, it'll say Mr. President or Miss President, and they'll change who that person is because the role itself is not supposed to be like opinionated or something that the person who's in the role is independently handling or making about their personal values. This is supposed to be a role of government that is being performed by a member of said government. So without making this too much longer, what I would say is anytime that you are self-representing, The body that you're going before, you want to make sure that you check what all the rules and regulations around that body's decision making are. For instance, if you're on a basketball court and somebody takes 3 steps when they're driving, you have to be able to point to where in the NBA rules it says that you can't take 3 steps. And you want to make sure that you double check behind yourself to make sure that there's no other rules that would lead to 3 steps being possible. This is a pretty serious game of chess. Pretty serious game of chess. But I honestly don't think it's as complicated as people think it is. I think it's just a matter of you applying yourself and a matter of you having a just moral compass. Like you have to be able to know right from wrong internally to be able to do this. Otherwise, certain things you might not want to look into or read or become well versed in. Family, I'm gonna get out of here because I didn't really mean for this video to be so long. I really just wanted to take some time to, I'm working on my own case. For those who don't know, I'm submitting an appeal to the appellate court, which, you know, hopefully will go even further if need be. But hold on. Oftentimes when I'm working on my case, I'll just be sitting here looking out the window like, man, I just wish more people were on this. You know what I'm saying? Because I sit and I watch fathers talk about how they're going through this. They got to get some money so they can fix this. And money is not going to fix your issue, family. It's just not. If you think that money is going to get you your kids, talk to Tyrese. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese, the millionaire actor, singer, right? He lost custody of his kids and he's a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, you want to realize that the law is open for interpretation and it's open to change at any point. So I won sole custody of my children back in January of 2021. But as you see, I'm still having to litigate because things are open and they change, especially when you're talking about family law. That being said, family, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I send positive vibes to any and everybody who is self-representing or thinking about doing it. Or maybe, you know, even if you're not self-representing, if you have a lawyer, you still should be of some use and service to your lawyer. Certain things like court objections, certain things like just court mannerisms, how to carry yourself, certain ways that you explain your perspective. You want to be able to be beneficial to your lawyer. I think any attorney would appreciate you educating yourself. You know what I mean? But look, y'all remember to be positive, optimistic, keep positive people in your circle. If there's any specific topics or anything someone would like me to do a video on, please let me know. And also, lastly, if you would like to support, you can support me. Cash App is JGiddins the Paralegal. I do all of this in addition to raising 7 children on my own, in addition to, you know, doing health and food lectures and participating in community organizations and homeschooling my kids and all of this kind of stuff, you know, and I'm not well off. So, you know, I be on the bus going to the court. But look, one love, family. Stay tuned.